So the Niners are going to the Super Bowl. And I know what you're thinking. Forget the Packers, their history. Let's move right along and preview the Chiefs. And I'd like to. But let's slow down real quick. And before we move on to the Super Bowl, let's really linger on what the Niners did to the Packers because it was glorious. It was very similar to what they did to the Vikings, just running it at will. But they did it in almost the opposite way, and I thought it was really intellectually stimulating in a football way. So I want to explain to you how the Niners ran the ball at will against the Packers, how it was sort of the opposite tactic of what they used against the Vikings. So I'm going to go the best offensive plays, the best defensive plays, no bad plays because the coaches were on point in this game. Good Jimmy and bad Jimmy. Yes, there were brief appearances from both guys, even though he only threw 8 passes. Stock up, and there's a million guys. Stock down, and there's just a few. Let's get right into it. This is the second run of the game for the 49ers. This is second down. Notice how the Packers align their defense. This is Mike Pettin, the defensive coordinator. He was the head coach of the Browns when Kyle Shanahan was their offensive coordinator. They worked together in 2014. Pettin thinks he knows what Shanahan wants to do and how to stop him. So last week, the Vikings played with what they call 6 techniques, which would be these guys head up over the tight ends. So you can't do that against the Niners because, as I showed you in my YouTube breakdown of the Vikings game, you can check it out on YouTube if you didn't see it, you'll just have George Kittle caving in this 6 technique who's right over the top of him, like turning his shoulders perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, and Tevin Coleman or Raheem Mostert just running outside all day. You can't play that straight 4-3 with the defensive ends head up on the tight ends because you're extremely vulnerable to the outside zone run. Got it? And that's the bread and butter. So what of Kyle Shanahan and his dad and Gary Kubiak for years and years and years. It's really what they're known for, and sometimes people say it's what all they do. In the Super Bowl when Kyle Shanahan lost when he was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, Bill Belichick set the edge, took away the outside zone. Falcons couldn't run the ball anymore. That was checkmate. So Mike Pettin, he takes, unlike the Vikings, this is a totally different front. Instead of playing head up on the tight ends, he plays outside. These are like wide 9 guys standing up, 2 of them. Then inside you have a guy over the center and then both guards covered here, which makes it real tough. You got a 3 technique, a 3 technique, and a 1 or a 0 technique, which makes it real tough to run inside zone because inside zone really requires a double team either from the guard in this center, the center in this guard, or the center in this guard. And this guard can't double team him because then this guy has a free shot at the quarterback. You know, this guard can't come over and double team him because this guy comes in and has a free shot at the quarterback. So it's what Pettin's doing here is I'm taking away outside zone by setting the edge. I'm taking away inside zone by setting the edge. Checkmate, you can't run the ball. What he's giving up are these huge gaps between, outside the tackles right here. There's no one there. And he's saying, well, Kyle Shanahan won't know how to exploit this hole. Maybe in 2014, Shanahan did know how to exploit it. Maybe in 2016, when he lost the Super Bowl, he didn't know how to exploit it. But now, the Niners have a new run game coordinator, Mike McDaniel, who's been following Shanahan around for a lot of years, but now he's the run game coordinator, and his influence on the team has really made Kyle Shanahan way better. Because if you play this to just sell out to stop the outside zone and the inside zone, the Niners have a million ways to counter it, and they proved it in this game, and that's how they ran for 1,000,000 yards. So let's check it out. Look, that's like the Grand Canyon. You can't run inside zone. You can't run outside zone. So what the Niners do is they run there's zone blocking and there's gap blocking. The Niners do both. The Packers act like they never really watched the Niners this year because they've been pulling linemen all year. But this is a gap blocking team. It's basically power. What you're going to do is you're going to get 74 and 75 blocking down on him this way. You get 44, use check, initially blocking out, kicking out here, then climbing up to the second level and getting this linebacker here. You're going to get Person and Kittle pulling. Person's going to knock this guy to the side after use check kicks him out, and Kittle's going to lead through the hole and get Blake Martinez, and Tevin Coleman's just going to have to run straight for 4 yards. It's like the whole idea is you want to set the edge here and not let us outside? Okay, then we're going to kick out this edge setter and make this hole even bigger. You want to take away this, we're going to take this. We're going to take what you're giving us. We have counters for your adjustments. This makes the Niners run game really hard to stop. You get the double team blocking down. Start there. get movement at the point of attack. Then you get use check. Bluffs the block here, climbs up to the second level, slows this guy down enough that person can get him. Now Kittle, let's look at Kittle again. Watch Kittle pulling, wraps around, gets Martinez, use check over here. Tevin Coleman, maybe if he had been a little bit, maybe if it's been Mostert and he had made a little bit better of a jump cut right here instead of running into Tomlinson, you get 7 yards instead of 4. But still, that's the approach the Niners took into this game. It's like, okay, you want to take away the zone runs? Well, we can do gap blocking. I mean, we can run plays that Bob McKittrick and Bill Walsh ran in the 80s, no problem. We can run Jim Harbaugh type of plays, Big Ten type of plays. That's in our playbook. Have you not watched us this year? We've been doing this all year. I wonder if the Packers, how much film study they really did, or if they asked Mike Pettin, hey, what do you think? And Pettin's like, I got this. I used to coach with him. Okay, next example. Again, we got 2 tight ends on the line. What they're doing is, I'll show it from over here. You're putting the tight ends on the line. You know that Mike Pettin is going to take away the inside and then set these edges. So what you're trying to do is take these gaps and make them even bigger by putting tight ends there. Because these guys would be a little bit closer to the tackles if there were no tight ends. You put tight ends there, and you make this, you take this gap, which is already the 405 freeway, and turn it into the Grand Canyon, okay? That's what they did on the play I just showed you. Now they're going to do basically the same thing, but they're going to jazz it up with a third tight end, Kittle, who goes in jet sweep motion, which is great. It's pretty cool. So what they're going to do is, let's see how this plays out. Same concept, but dressed up in a different way. Another power play with pulling guards, except one pulling guards and tight ends, but one of the pullers is now in, running before the snap. Again, you're taking these, you're attacking 91. You want to set the edge, or we're going to push you out of the play. That's what you have to do to counter. So you're going to get 85, and who's going to be the second puller? 75, and they're going at 91 right here. Hold on. 91 doesn't see what's happening until it's too late. He tries to duck away from the contact right here, and now he's out of the play, on the ground. You get a third puller, though, use check, who jumps inside, right in the hole, takes out Blake Martinez, and now Raheem Mostert just has to run straight for 6 yards. And what's great about this is that the Packers didn't even come close to adjusting until the third quarter, when they were already down 27-0. It never occurred to the Packers that the Niners would be pulling blockers and running old-school gap plays. They thought Kyle Shanahan is a zone-blocking guy only. It's like they really didn't watch the film. Okay, so if the game against the Vikings was a clinic on how to run zone blocking, outside zone to defeat a classic 4-3, this was a clinic of gap blocking and how to beat a 3-4, how to attack the gaps inside the outside linebackers. The Niners did it a million different ways. I just showed you 2 different ways that they ran old school power, which is pulling guards from the backside of the formation. Like if you want to run over here, pulling the backside guard over here. This is a G lead, which is similar, but instead of pulling the Tomlinson to run to the right, you pull the play side tackle and the play side guard and have the tight end block down over here. It's a similar way to attack this guy. Let's see how it looks. It's just a faster developing play. Defense doesn't see it coming. They're expecting the backside guard to pull, but instead you got the tight end blocking down on 94, the play side tackle kicking out 91, and the play side guard kicking him out as well. I mean, look, the whole idea is to take him and move him as far this way as possible. Let's see how far they move him. He starts here, right around here. He was back here. What is that, 15 yards? Now he's all the way over here. Can't set the edge, being driven out of the play, almost to the sideline. And this is stuff that teams have been running since, the 60s? A G lead, a T lead. It's simple stuff. But it's like the Packers had never seen it before, and it's because they hadn't. I'm sure that in the week of prep, Mike Pettin had his defensive players, I'm guessing, it seems like it, only working on defending zone blocking. And when they came out and the Niners did gap run after gap run, pulling blockers, the Packers linemen were like, hey, you didn't prepare us for this. I mean, they were as miffed by this, like they'd never seen it like as they were in 2013, when they couldn't stop a simple zone read from Colin Kaepernick. It's like they'd never seen power or counter or a G lead before. which that's like the oldest play in football. This might be my favorite play call of the game from Kyle Shanahan. This was 3rd and 2 in field goal range. They motioned Mostert into the backfield, and you're thinking, okay, here comes the run. The Niners are up 17-0. They're going conservative. They're just trying to get a yard or two and then kick the field goal. But it's a perfect counter. First of all, look, 3rd and 2, both safeties back, the defense anticipating a pass. All right, this was one of my favorite play calls of the game. It was 3rd and 2 in field goal range, thinking maybe the Niners are going to run the ball, kick a field goal. No, this was an aggressive play. A terrific counter for what the Packers are trying to do. Here you got 2 safeties back. They're anticipating pass. You also have their best pass rusher, Zadarius Smith, lined up over the center. He's not in a position to stop the run. He's trying to rush the quarterback. Like what Mike Pettin has told his players is there is no way they're running the ball here. Let's sack Jimmy Garoppolo. Meanwhile, the Niners are up 17-0. They don't really want to pass. So I don't know what the Packers are thinking here. It's a perfect counter to the Packers blitz and their 2 safeties back look. 55 just jumps in like he's rushing the quarterback. All these guys get pushed out of the way. You got Tomlinson pulling. These guys all blocked down. Tomlinson pulls. 85 gets 50. Tomlinson kicks out 91. Easy. Just another way to kick out 91, right? He's over here. He's worried about Kittle. Kittle bluffs the block to get him to stop his feet and freeze, as opposed to closing the distance, closing the space. Then Tomlinson pulls him around, kicks him out of the play. Kittle gets up to the second level, seals out Blake Martinez. Gain of 10, all from blocking. On 3rd and 2, I mean, the Packers were just as unprepared to face the Niners defense in this game as they were in the first game, maybe even more unprepared, which is mind-boggling. Now let's get to the defensive plays of the game. This is the first quarter, 5:19 left. It's 2nd and 8 on the Packers' 27-yard line. The reason I picked this, it was a big topic of conversation going into the game. Should Richard Sherman follow Davante Adams wherever he lines up? Usually Sherman doesn't follow receivers. He stays on the left side, plays zone coverage, shuts down his third of the field, and that's good pass defense. Well, he made a whole thing at his weekly press conference that it's stupid to do anything else. Well, he was lying a little bit because the Niners did it a little bit. Just a little. Robert Saleh, what he did, not on 3rd down, but on 1st and 2nd down, when he thought the Packers would try like a play-action deep pass at Davante Adams, he put Richard Sherman on him. So he's anticipating the Packers play calls. Remember, he knows Matt LaFleur, the Packers play caller. They were roommates in college. He really knows his tendencies, his offense, and he demonstrates it right here. This is 2nd and 8. One of the few times in the game, Saleh puts Richard Sherman on Davante Adams, and he's saying, I know you want to throw deep to Davante Adams. I'm going to put my best corner on him and a safety over the top and take it away, and I'm anticipating your move. It's like seeing a punch coming in boxing. Here comes the run. No wait, it's a play fake. Aaron Rodgers rolls to his left, looks deep to Davante Adams, who's bracketed. Not bracketed, but double covered. You can't throw that ball. So he throws it underneath to Allen Lazard, who makes the catch because he beats Fred Warner, who reacts to the play fake here and is a little late getting back to his coverage responsibility here. Warner did not play a good game. I'm going to get to him later in the stock down section. But this was a great play call from from Robert Saleh, anticipating the deep play action pass to Davante Adams and putting Richard Sherman there to take it away. Okay, let's get to good Jimmy. This was the only good Jimmy I found. He didn't have many opportunities to present himself. This is 4th quarter, 8:10 left. 1st and 10 from the Niners 27. Kittle lines up at wide receiver, wide right. Safety follows him. Garoppolo does all the little things right. He's gotten more experience, and he's a smarter quarterback, a headier quarterback than he used to be, just because he's had more reps. So what does he see? Kittle out there, safety lines up. It's man-to-man coverage. So he changes the play. It looked like before it was either going to be a run or a play-action pass that was maybe designed to attack zone coverage. Well, he sees man-to-man coverage and changes the play. Goes to the second one, which is designed clearly to beat man-to-man coverage. Let's see what happens here. It's going to be a mesh concept where Kittle runs the shallow cross. Juszczyk runs the shallow cross. And Juszczyk is just supposed to get in the way of this DB, Darnell Savage, who's covering Kittle. Just slow him down just enough to get Kittle open. That's what's going to happen. It's going to work perfectly. If you know it's man-to-man coverage, it's really hard to stop this double crossing route, basically, a mesh concept. Here comes Juszczyk running basically right at the guy, almost setting a pick and then getting out of the way at the last minute. Now he's 5 yards behind Kittle. And if you watch Garoppolo from the end zone cam, he knows he wants to go to Kittle. That's the whole reason he changed the play, to get the ball to Kittle on that mesh concept. But he doesn't give it away right away. He looks left first. This is one read Jimmy. I've called him that before. It looks left first. Now he finds Kittle over the middle. That's where he wanted to go the entire time. Big gain. That's why it's really risky to play man-to-man coverage against the 49ers. They have so many different ways they can beat you with mesh concepts and rub routes and picks. And they have so many players who can run for long gains after the catch, specifically Kittle and Deebo. And they have a quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, who can hit you in stride on those underneath passes, almost like Joe Montana. He's not throwing downfield a lot, but when he throws underneath, he's so accurate, he allows for these yards after the catch. This is bad, Jimmy. First quarter, 45 seconds left, 2nd and 6 at the Packers' 28. You're going to have Emmanuel Sanders running a deep over route against man-to-man coverage. Kevin King, this is the guy the Niners like to pick on. Kyle Shanahan apparently has no respect for him. He went to my high school, Kevin King. I saw him after the game. I said, "Bitch about that." He was like, hey. So we know each other. We're friends now. Emmanuel Sanders, he runs the deep over route. He's faster than Kevin King. He has a step on Kevin King. He's open. This is open in the NFL. You throw it out here, that's a first down. There's the marker. But it's almost intercepted. So let's look at what happened from the end zone. This is bad, Jimmy. This is why there may be some credence to the theory that the reason the Niners are running so much has something to do with a little bit of a lack of trust in Jimmy Garoppolo in a playoff game, because he's done stuff like that even with limited opportunities. So this is the guy I said usually hits people in stride. It's a little bit behind Emmanuel Sanders. He has to slow down just a little bit. It could be out here where he could run to it. And then also, why doesn't he hit him in stride? Well, when bad Jimmy isn't as accurate as he normally is, and he can be extremely accurate, it's when he's throwing off his back foot like that. Doesn't transfer his weight, all arm, all upper body. You're just not going to have as repeatable of a motion when you do that. You're not going to have as consistent results. So that's bad Jimmy. Could have been an interception, but it wasn't. I have one more bad Jimmy clip, and it's the exact next play. Right after, 3rd and 6. He made back-to-back appearances, and then Kyle Shanahan shut him down for the afternoon. This is 3rd and 6 in field goal range. They're at the 28-yard line. He's going to be pressured. Packers rush 4. No one's open. Bourne's not open. Sanders isn't open. This guy isn't open. Garoppolo needs to throw this ball away. Instead, he gets sacked all the way back at the 36-yard line, which makes this a 54-yard field goal. Robbie Gould made it. It wasn't the difference in the game. But against the Chiefs, something like this could be the difference in the game. You got to throw this one away. Get rid of it right now. Right now. Throw it away. Instead of taking that. That's bad, Jimmy. Inexperienced Jimmy. He can learn from that, Jimmy. Better learn from that, Jimmy. Now, this is the stock up section. And I don't want to lead off with Raheem Mostert, even though he was the hero of the game. And he was great. I'm going to get to Raheem Mostert. I'm not taking anything away from him. But what was really impressive beyond him and beyond the Niners' perfect game plan and scheme for the running game to attack what the Packers were trying to present, the Niners just had elite edge blocking. I mean, from Staley to McGlinchey to Kittle to Juszczyk, the blocking around the outside was just elite. And I want to give everyone some credit, starting with Staley, because he's the guy who's endured the most pain in this franchise. He played on some terrible teams. He probably thought he was never going to get back to the Super Bowl. And a big reason the Niners are getting back to the Super Bowl is because of blocks like this. So this is, let's give you the situation. Third quarter, 4:56 left in the quarter, 2nd and 10 at the Packers 22. Remember how hard I said it is to run outside zone against a 3-4 look where you got this outside linebacker whose sole intent is to set the edge? Well, look what Staley does to him. This is outside zone. Right at Fackrell, who's setting the edge. He's in perfect position. Staley just sticks with him, wrenches him to the inside, seals him out, turns him perpendicular. And Mostert, I mean, he gets to the edge because he's so fast, but that's only made possible because of that block that Joe Staley never should have been able to actually execute. It's impossible. It's physically impossible to turn this guy when he has you like that. Now, Fackrell kind of jumps to the inside a little bit, but Staley gets him, turns him, seals him, makes that touchdown possible. That's elite run blocking. It's interesting. It's like with the intricate play designs that the Niners have and the elite run blocking on the perimeter the Niners have, they can just put a gunner at running back and say, run really fast in that direction, and all of a sudden he's the best running back in the league. Not to take anything away from Mostert, because he's a hell of a player who would make a lot of teams better, including the Chiefs, who the Niners are going to face in the Super Bowl. But yeah, let's appreciate the blocking. Stock up Mike McGlinchey. Stock up Mike McGlinchey. He's right here. I just gave Joe Staley some love for his block on the edge. Let's watch Mike McGlinchey, who's just as good of a run blocker as Staley. This is 1st and 10 at the Packers 37, 12:32 left in the second quarter. He's going to go get 95, get a piece of him. Now he's going to climb to the second level, get Blake Martinez, steal him out of the play, create the cutback lane for Raheem Mostert. But really, the two key blocks on this play were from McGlinchey. First here, the double team to steal and turn 95. Get him turned sideways. Now his shoulders are perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. He's out. Now you get up to the second level and get 50 and push him, kick him out of the play. Steal, kick out. He did it both. He were the two best blocks on the play were from Mike McGlinchey. And again, Mostert just follows him, does his job, keeps it simple. Stock up, George Kittle. I could do him every week. His stock is always up. He's never had a stock down week, or at least not in a long time. This is 1st and 10 at the Niners 31 in the second quarter, 5:35 left. It's going to be a little toss to Mostert. You're going to see Kittle go in motion here. He's going to be one-on-one with Zadarius Smith, this outside linebacker. Just watch how he pushes him. He's going to take this guy and move him this way as far as he can. Pushes him, 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 creates this huge hole for Juszczyk to just finish off that blocker, that tackler there. And again, Mostert. Now you just run as fast as you can. And the best part about Mostert, I'll show you this in a minute, but before we get to Mostert doing Mostert things, Kittle, great blocker, a better blocker than he is a receiver, which is amazing because he's an elite receiver. Takes this guy and moves him out of the play, makes this hole even bigger, allows Juszczyk to finish off the block. And now, a sprinter running fast. 26 thinks he has him, wrong angle, misses. 31 thinks he has him, wrong angle, misses. That's the funnest part. I did a YouTube highlight film of Mostert, but it wasn't that good. If I could do another one, it would just be all the runs where people take the wrong angle and end up whiffing and diving at nothing. There were like 4 or 5 in this game. Okay, stock up Raheem Mostert. Let's give Mostert his due. This is the first quarter, 6:01 left, 3rd and 8 from the Packers 36. I showed you earlier where the Packers expect the Niners to run on 3rd down, and they blitz and they totally lose all gap integrity. They're certain the Niners are not going to run it. It's 3rd and 8. Why would they run it? Well, because they're really good at running it, and they have Raheem Mostert. So here they go. They're going to blitz 5. Again, they got Zadarius Smith standing over the center. None of these guys are in position to stop the run. So let's watch what happens. There's going to be a lot of nice blocking, but again, let's appreciate Mostert obliterating these disrespectful pursuit angles these defenders take. So let's appreciate the blocking because it's fantastic. 68. Well, first of all, let's start from the very beginning. 55, Mr. Pass Rusher, Mr. Blitzer, has no idea that the run's coming, although you got to blame his coach for that one. Just gets annihilated by 75 here. Doesn't see it coming. Oh! takes him out of the play. 68 comes across, pulls, takes him out of the play. 2 pass rushers who were totally surprised. 51 falls in his face. 68 takes him out. 74 climbs, seals this guy. I mean, perfect blocking. Okay, now Mostert does his thing. He's in the open field. 23. I think I got him. I think I got him. I think I got him. Wait, not even close. Not even close. This guy is so fast. But the one that's really funny is 26, Savage. Let's watch what he does. Here, this guy. Here's Mostert. Here's Savage. If I showed you a still right here, you'd think, yeah, maybe Mostert will get to like right here and then Savage will tackle him, right? This is what Mostert does to people all the time. Oh, I didn't realize he's that fast. Oh, I took the wrong angle. Oh, I didn't even touch him. That's amazing. How many running backs can do that? Let's go frame by frame. Let's get into Savage's mind. Oh, I got him, man. I got him, man. He's nothing. He's gonna stay. He's gonna run straight. He's gonna run straight. I got him. I'll meet him right here. Oh, I messed up. Oh, I'm not gonna get him. Oh, he's by me. That's what I think he was thinking as Raheem Mostert scored this touchdown. Okay, stock up Deebo Samuel. I have 2 plays for him. Maybe not the plays you're thinking. This is first quarter, 8-12, 2nd and 5 from the 49ers, 3rd and 2. If you watch my YouTube breakdowns, you know that I've frequently called Deebo Samuel a better running back than a wide receiver. That as a wide receiver, he's better after the catch than before it. And what I mean is he's unreal as a yak guy, yards after the catch, but before it, his routes and particularly his hand-eye coordination, his hand placement when catching a ball has been undisciplined, and I've blamed that on Wes Welker. Well, let's watch this real quick. Hold on. Watch the hands. Watch the hands. The hand placement is perfect. Remember, in the past, when he's dropped some balls, he's had like one hand up here and one hand underneath, and he's like chomped down on it like that. Here, his hands are in perfect position. You'd almost like his index fingers and thumbs to be touching, but close enough. He's got his hands in the right position. He's got his eyes on the ball. When people say people have bad hands, that's a misnomer. It's always about hand-eye coordination, and here he's demonstrating it. This is a guy who really does have a lot of potential as a wide receiver who can get even better if he can consistently make catches like this, because he dropped a few balls this year. But then the way he finishes after the catch is just so much fun to watch. I can't remember. I compare him to Percy Harvin, but Percy Harvin wasn't this tough and strong. I'll show you why I compare him to Percy Harvin in the next clip coming up. To me, this is pure Percy Harvin. Samuel's at the top of the screen. Just going to run an end around. This is the way the Vikings and the Seahawks used to use Harvin. He's such a good athlete. And yeah, he's technically a wide receiver, but he's such a good athlete, you have to use him as a running back too. Kind of how the Patriots use Cordero Patterson. This is the best play in the Niners playbook. Better than any play to George Kittle. The end around to Deebo Samuel. Teams can't stop it. You know you're going to see it in the Super Bowl. I mean, look at that. Percy Harvin, but better. And I thought in 2012, before he got hurt, he was a legitimate MVP candidate. Remember, he was one of the main reasons the Vikings beat the Niners in 2012 with Christian Ponder as their quarterback. Stock up Richie James Jr. presented without comment. Whew. That was one comment. Whew. Made that guy miss. He's still spinning around over here. Now, that's the best move. Hold on. So he's got this guy spinning around all the way to Timbuktu, but this guy here, look at this little hesitation move. Ooh, that little step there. He breaks his both ankles, basically. And now he just runs to the outside, gets a nice block from Ahkello Witherspoon. What a punt returner. This guy is an excellent punt returner, an excellent kick returner. My only question with him was his experience. When he made that over-the-shoulder catch on the punt against the Vikings, I was like, But no, he's one of the best return men in the league. And when you wonder why doesn't Dante Pettis return punts, because this Richie James guy is one of the best in the league. Okay, stock up Nick Bosa. Some of you guys think I never give him credit. Let's see him. I mean, I've said he's a terrific pass rusher who can be taken advantage of a little bit as a run defender, due to his lack of experience. Well, they don't take advantage of him here. In fact, he has a hell of a play here. He's right here. They're going to run outside zone in his direction. 2nd and 7, first quarter, 4 minutes left. This is David Bakhtiari, one of the best left tackles in the league. This is a rookie. He's 21 years old. Already one of the strongest, if not the strongest defensive ends in the league. Bakhtiari hits him. Bosa discards him in one little brief movement. Makes a tackle for no gain. Watch it one more time because it happens, even in slow motion, it happens fast. Wait. Bakhtiari barely touches him. Hell of a player. Hell of a play. Stock up. K'Wan Williams. This is 3rd and 7. This is a really nice blitz designed by Robert Saleh. But I didn't put it in like the best play calls of the game because the ones that I usually highlight as being Saleh's brilliance is when he gets a blitzer into the quarterback without anyone blocking him. When he basically creates a wide open rush lane for a blitzer. This is not what Saleh did here. He created a one-on-one between K'Wan Williams and the right guard, Billy Turner. And if you had heard that, you'd think, well, I don't know. I'm not sure the Niners necessarily have an advantage there. Maybe the guard can pick him up. Well, let's see what happens. One-on-one, K'Wan Williams just runs right by him. The guard falls down. And then K'Wan's not done. He strips the ball from Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't really make any effort to go get the ball. He kind of just watches it. There he is watching it, watching his career go down in flames, watching his last chance really to get to the Super Bowl, evaporate. There it is. How's it look? How's it feel, Aaron? Oh, yeah. You're never making it back. Once again, the Niners tarnished your legacy or got in the way of you building it up. How's it feel, dude? That was on you. That was K'Wan Williams who took the ball from you. Yep. Just runs by the right guard. Hell of a player, and not just good in coverage, a good blitzer too. Robert Saleh says he likes to use the pawns. He's not quite a chess master, but a chess expert. K'Wan Williams would be one of his most dangerous pawns, and the way he uses K'Wan Williams probably is the way he plays chess. That pawn all up in your face, pressing the issue, making you worried about him as opposed to the big boys like Nick Bosa and DeForest Buckner. Final stock up, Dre Greenlaw. I have 3 plays from him. I thought he was terrific. But this is 3rd and 3 early in the game. First quarter, 10:08. The Packers run to the line of scrimmage to try to get the Niners off guard, and they do. I mean, the Niners are not really set. They're all trying to figure out where to be and who to cover. Dre Greenlaw, the rookie, knows exactly where to be, gets over to his man and tackles him 2 yards short of the first down marker. That's a clutch tackle. But the reason I highlighted this is not his physical abilities or his speed or his closing burst, but just how smart he was. A rookie diagnosing what the Packers were doing with that up-tempo stuff and getting over to his man really quickly. Okay, this is second quarter, 9:12 left, 1st and 10 at the Packers 25. It's going to be a play action with Davante Adams running the deep crosser. This is the way most offenses like to attack cover 3, because when you run the deep crosser against this zone, you match up their wide receiver running the deep crosser against the linebacker, which is a terrible matchup. But look at Dre Greenlaw. Diagnose pass, doesn't react really hard to the run fake, sees that it's a pass. That's amazing. Picks up Davante Adams, something that, remember, Fred Warner struggled picking up Alan Lazard earlier in this video that I showed you. Dre Greenlaw runs with him and takes him out of the play. Now, Emmanuel Mosley gives up a 20-yard catch over the middle because Mosley struggled in this game too. But Dre Greenlaw, great coverage. I mean, I don't even know if Mosley could have done that well. Hell of a player, this young kid. Okay, this is 2nd and 11 at the Packers 24. It's second quarter, 23 seconds left. I like this one. I just showed you Dre Greenlaw covering down the field. Well, here, and I also showed you how quickly he diagnosed it was a pass on a play-action pass before anyone else. Here, it's a screen. He's covering Jimmy Graham, but he recognizes Greenlaw that it's a screen real early. Graham's trying to run him out of the play. Greenlaw realizes right now, no, forget Graham. It's a screen. I mean, Rodgers still hasn't thrown the ball. He breaks early, identifies it quickly. This is a rookie. And is in the play so quickly that Rodgers has to throw the ball away. And at the very end, Greenlaw is taunting Aaron Rodgers. First ballot Hall of Famer, rookie 5th-round pick. And he's right. He's saying, get the hell out of here. Goodbye. Your season's over. Your career's probably over. Thanks for coming. You're a has-been. And he's right. Wow, what a moment for Dre Greenlaw and the 49ers. Stock down, Fred Warner. Did not have a good game. A very good player, not one of his best games. Greenlaw was the best linebacker by far of the 49ers. Let's watch Warner here. This is going to be a 9-yard run for Aaron Jones. Here he is. And let's watch Warner. Here he is. He's setting the edge, but he loses his balance and gets pancaked, as football people say. Planted on the ground and flattened. That's a bad look from the Pro Bowl caliber linebacker. So that was a rough play against the run from Fred Warner. I showed you that catch he gave up to Allen Lazard earlier. Here he is in the red zone. Warner right here covering Jay Sternberger. Sternberger runs across the back of the end zone this way. Warner sticks with him. This is a scramble drill. Everyone has to stick to their man now. The plays, even if it's zone coverage initially, it becomes man-to-man coverage once the play extends into 3, 4, 5 seconds because that's how you break down a zone. Jay Sternberger, who's just the guy, like their third-string tight end, stops, redirects. Warner loses balance again. Maybe he needs better cleats. Maybe it was wet and he didn't have his long studs on. Anyway, just kind of stops running after it. Really stops running after it. Gives up the touchdown. Bad look. They're going to need better from Fred Warner in the Super Bowl. Stock down, Quan Alexander. This play looked like rust to me because he was absolutely terrific in coverage before he got hurt. This is the fourth quarter, 15 minutes left when the Niners maybe had let up a little bit. Didn't realize that the game wasn't quite over. This is when the Packers made a little bit of headway, started scoring some points. This is 1st and 10 at the Niners' 43. They're going to run cover 3, their standard coverage. Jaquiski Tart drops down into this inside area right here. Quan Alexander is what they call the curl flat defender. This is the curl flat. Okay, so you got 3 deep, 4 underneath. 3 deep are Mosley, Ward, and Sherman. Underneath is Alexander, Tart, Warner, and this guy over here, I think that's K'Wan Williams. But the point is, in cover 3, if you got this guy running up the seam, the curl flat defender has to run with him. It becomes man-to-man coverage. You can't just let him go by you. That's what Quan Alexander does. It's like he forgot his assignment. Quan, you got to run with him. Sherman has to be, Sherman's looking at this guy over here. Has to be as wide as he is. Quan has to run with him here. Lets him go right by him. Gives up a touchdown. That's rust. Usually he wouldn't make a mistake like that. Not quite a touchdown. He's down at the 1-yard line. They score the next play. But this is why, it's interesting that late in the game, Saleh's seeing what the defense looks like with Warner and Alexander on the field and no Dre Greenlaw. They're trying to give Quan Alexander an opportunity to regain his spot as the main linebacker opposite Fred Warner. Well, this is why you're seeing they can't quite do that yet. That Dre Greenlaw, he may not be as good as Quan Alexander, but Greenlaw didn't get hurt. He didn't miss half of the season. He's not rusty. He's locked in. Alexander isn't. Stock down Richard Sherman. And before you yell at me through your computer screen, yes, I know he had an interception, and it was nice. The way I saw it was a egregiously overthrown pass by Aaron Rodgers, and give Richard Sherman credit for being in the right place. But when Rodgers doesn't overthrow the ball, Richard Sherman really struggles in man-to-man coverage, and this is what Darrelle Revis is talking about. Sherman is a first-ballot Hall of Famer, and he does so many great things. Great tackler, smart player, can read plays before they happen, great hands, so many interceptions. But in man-to-man coverage, he makes Devontae Adams look like Tyreek Hill. He's 31 years old. He has a surgically repaired Achilles. He cannot run stride for stride with most wide receivers in the league. That's what happens. You get a good throw, you give up a 65-yard catch. Now, he redeemed himself by picking off the next one. That was an overthrown pass. And the reason I highlight this is if Sherman looks like this defending Devontae Adams, what's he going to look like in a couple of weeks defending Tyreek Hill? I mean, can you ever put Sherman on Tyreek Hill man-to-man? I don't think you can. I think you're asking for trouble. If he can't cover Devontae Adams, how's he going to cover Tyreek Hill or Mecole Hardman, who are much faster than this guy? Stock down Emmanuel Moseley. And again, I know you're yelling, he had an interception too. But if you go back and watch that pick, it was a poorly thrown ball. It was behind the wide receiver. It was right to Emmanuel Moseley. Aaron Rodgers was even worse in this game than he was in the first game. He was awful against the Niners this year. He may just not be good anymore. I don't know. But here's Moseley. Shaken at the line of scrimmage by Jake Kumaro. Rocked back onto his heels. Then he gives a big-time separation. I mean, he's out of the play now. He needs Jimmy Ward to make this tackle. And he does. Jimmy Ward's a hell of a player. But that's not good coverage. One more Moseley clip. This is the first play of the third quarter, 1st and 10. It's going to be cover 3. He's going up against Devontae Adams. Moseley wasn't much better than what the Niners have been getting from Ahkello Witherspoon lately. I kind of get why Shanahan and Saleh have been going back and forth and waffling on who they want to play, because I'm sure Moseley looks like this in practice. His coverage isn't that tight either. He's just not giving up the big play, and he's made some nice catches, but that's terrible coverage. I'm curious to see what Moseley and Sherman do against the speed of Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman and Sammy Watkins if the Niners pass rush doesn't just completely dominate the game like they did against the Packers both times. Okay, stock down Solomon Thomas. Not that his stock has ever been up, but a lot of people feel, hey, he's just out of position. If you would just play him at defensive tackle like he's supposed to be, he'd be really good. Well, you can't do that. There's a reason they don't play him at defensive tackle. Here he is as a 3 technique between the guard and the tackle, where DeForest Buckner normally plays. This is a run play, and this is what happens if you play Solomon Thomas inside on first down. He gets moved from here to here. He can't stop the run. He gets washed out of the play. He's not big enough. To play on first down, he has to be a defensive end. Otherwise, he's a liability. Here he is again, Solomon Thomas inside. This time he's a 2-eye, meaning he's in between the center and the guard instead of the guard and the tackle. He just charges in way too hard. Remember I showed you how Dre Greenlaw identified the screen? Well, Solomon Thomas is not going to do that. He's got the screen setting up right here. He has no clue. He gets spun out of the play. If he could get back in it and make this tackle, the Niners wouldn't give up a touchdown, but he's way out of it. I don't think Solomon Thomas is an NFL player. I mean, even against the run, he's not good enough. Look at Nick Bosa's disgusted. All of them. I mean, they're all like, geez, it's Solomon Thomas's fault. They need to think long and hard about whether they want him on the team next year, because I think there's a lot of guys on their practice squad who are better than this guy. Seriously. Kevin Givens should be playing over this guy. Okay, last stock down, Matt Breida. A lot of people are wondering, why is he in the doghouse? Why don't the Niners trust him anymore? Part of it is that he's fumbled recently, but part of it is that he's not seeing the hole. He's hitting it too hard. He's not letting things develop, and he's running into the backs of defenders. Look here. This is no gain. But if you run it back, there's a nice double team block here. You get this guy turned. He has his back to the play. There is a nice little crease right there that Breida doesn't let develop. He hits the hole too hard. If he had had a little patience, he could have hit that hole and bursted through. Mostert would have. Mostert has more patience in the backfield, and when it's time to hit the juice, to hit the Jets, he does. Breida, it seems like there's only one speed to his runs. You know, he's in 5th gear all the time, and you'd like a guy who has different gears. Mostert's just as fast, if not faster, but he can lull you to sleep, then run by you. So this is why Mostert should be getting almost all the carries in the Super Bowl as well. And it's so great that the Niners do have Mostert, because I don't know if Breida and Coleman are a good enough 1-2 punch. Really, in my opinion, heading into this Super Bowl, Mostert should get about 20 carries and the rest should go to Jeff Wilson Jr. Am I crazy? I don't think so. You'd rather have someone who can at least see the hole as opposed to just running into the backs of defenders. So the Niners, Matt Breida's lack of effectiveness, his total disappearing act shouldn't hurt the Niners because they have Mostert. And if they win the Super Bowl, some of the most important players of this season will be guys like Mostert, Dre Greenlaw, guys who weren't supposed to be contributors when they were putting together this team in training camp. Isn't that crazy?